Hey Eric,
Hey, John.
how you doing tonight?
Good, good. Welcome back.
I'm sorry for failing us last week.
No. I was just thinking I have had an mostly security origin story 2/3 the way done for filling in when one of
Uh-huh.
us was going to be gone, and I just last week I was like, I just don't have the time. Or yeah, last week was crazy. I just ran out of everything last week, so.
And I wound up in a hotel room that was a mistake. I was like, okay, we're not recording here.
A little bit
Anyway,
noisy.
very noisy, tiny,
Mm.
yeah, it was not worth saving the $150 a night that I saved. I don't think.
Ah.
But
Ah.
whatever. Whatever.
All
It's
right.
okay.
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I'm back from vacation. Last
Nice.
week was a nice vacation. Yeah.
And I mean,
Um,
I already know because I gave
well,
you some suggestions, and
you gave me a lot of suggestions, and I
yeah.
took many of them. Many of them. So yeah, so it was another road trip. So we 3 out of the last 4 years we have done road trips for spring break.
Mm-hmm.
Rented a minivan. Well, so like 3 years ago, we actually flew to New Mexico or Phoenix, rented a minivan and drove through New Mexico.
Right.
And that was awesome. 2 years ago, we drove cross country. Last year, we were not on a road trip. But then this year, like we gave the boys a option, and one of them was like, I don't remember the redwoods. I'd like to see other different biomes and
Okay.
and I really don't remember the redwoods because we last time we were there, it was probably 10 or 11 years ago, and he's 17, so he would have been 6.
Right.
Pretty young, maybe even younger. So anyway, we rented a minivan, and then the boys and I hopped in the car on Saturday and drove to Reno, which was a bit of a hike.
I was gonna
And
say Reno, from Portland to Reno in one day, huh?
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
a
yeah,
trip. That's a trip.
we're yeah, we have strong sitting muscles in my
Strong
family.
sitting muscles.
we're we're good. But well, we were listening to a story, and it was good. And, um, but but anyway, but my wife had some other stuff that she was unavoidable. So she actually flew to Oakland Monday evening. So the boys and I drove to Reno. We went up to Virginia City. We went down to King City because, hey, my last name,
Yeah.
on
Okay.
Lake
Okay.
Tahoe,
Yep.
and just did a couple little things, and then we drove over the hill. We went to the ice cream that you recommended. We Fenton's.
Yeah.
We went to the Jelly Belly factory. We picked my wife up in Oakland and went to
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco. We did Alcatraz Island. The highlight of the trip was Muir Woods,
Nice.
which was fantastic.
It's
And we
beautiful.
did Ghirardelli Square and a couple other things down
The tourist
downtown.
traps.
Yeah, oh yeah. We walked
Yeah,
along
yeah.
the
Pier 39 and all
not
that stuff.
boardwalk, but
Yeah.
yeah. We had lunch on Pier 39. Saw the sea lions and
Right.
stuff like that, and then we went down to Monterey Bay. We did the 17-mile drive, which was awesome. We did another ice cream recommendation, not from you. It's ice cream, lots of ice cream and
Yeah,
driving.
yeah.
And then, and ironically, we went to a restaurant where we were literally sitting, like it was table glass, like ocean,
Right.
and watched sea otters outside there. It was really cool. It was super cool. And they had the best ice cream that I had in the entire trip. Better than your recommendation, better than my other friend's recommendation. And I'm like, what kind of ice cream is this? And he said, it's homemade. And I was like, oh, come on, I can't buy this. Anyway, it was really good. But
I
anyway, and then we came up through the redwoods, went on 3 hikes, and took a couple days to get home, and of course,
Nice.
anyway, it was a great trip. It was fun.
Cool.
But I have a minor Lowe's problem. I think you know that my door was not fixed.
Has been,
and they had to both fix the door and like give me a slider replacement handle.
Right.
And I was in Lowe's 2 days ago and said to the guy, "Hey, by the way, Tim is coming out on Thursday to fix the door," which the replacement door was literally on my porch. "Where's my handle?" And the nice Lowe's person that I've been working with for now 4 months said to me, "Oh, well," and he showed me the computer screen. He's like, "I'm really sorry. I don't understand. It says that it will be delivered on the 9th of April, which is in like next week.
Right.
And that it is already delivered. That its status is delivered. Receipt date 4/9." And I'm like,
in the future?
So is it here? And he's like, I'm sorry, I don't know. But I will try and figure out. And so he's like, "Go home." Because why? You are not allowed to only go to Lowe's once. Or I am not allowed to only go to Lowe's once. So I got the dog door that I was supposed to get as my replacement. That was my thing while I was going there. I talked to I wasn't intending on doing this. I just happened to walk by the desk and the gentleman was sitting there who has helped me. And I was like, "Oh, hey." He's like, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "My last name's King." He's like, "Oh, yes."
Now I recognize
Anyway, whatever. So he calls me an hour and a half later and says, "I have the handle in my hand. You said you would come down and pick it up. Do you want me to leave it at the front desk?" And I said, "I would absolutely like you to do that." And so I drove back at like 9 o'clock at night or 9:30. And I was like, got the handle, brought it here. Mr. Tim, the installer, was here today. He's like, "Cool, I'm doing two things." He fixed the door, and then he opens up the handle and says, "This is the wrong handle."
Oh, no. I am not laughing at you.
I know, don't laugh. So I'm like, I mean, literally in the ticket, there is a photo of the handle that needs to be replaced because it's got a huge chunk out of it. Like, I don't know what happened. They drove over it with a forklift or something. I don't know. The broken handle is like super broken. I did realize today, after this, because I didn't open it, right? I mean, I was merely a delivery person. Pick it up, bring it here, hand it to the installer guy and say, "Cool." And, but it's the handle, it's a replacement handle for the special order door that's off our bedroom, as opposed to the stock door that is out my basement.
Oh.
They ordered the wrong handle, is my having looked at both of them and said, I suspect this is what happened.
Huh. Yeah,
anyway, so there's my Lowe's story. I now have to return the handle back to Lowe's.
Installer Tim didn't just take it back for you?
He said that he's not allowed to do that.
Oh, of course. Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
I got it. And I got a call from a nice lady from Lowe's like a half hour after he left saying, "Hey, I'm a little confused as to the status of this work order." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, me too."
Has your confusion lasted 4 months? Because mine has.
I was like, she's like, "Is there anything else I can help you with?" I'm like, "This is kind of a forever project. I'd kind of like it over." Anyway, I was polite. I'm polite.
Yep.
It's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, how about you? Been gone for 2 weeks. Do you have a good good time? Do anything fun?
We did. We went to the Woodburn Tulip Farm.
Oh.
On last Saturday. It was a nice day. It wasn't super rainy. They had the kites out. So there was like the blue whale kite. So it's this massive kite that looks like a blue whale floating in the sky. It was really cool. And then of course it's the first set of blooms for the tulips. So not all the fields were bloom, but there was still beautiful flowers to be seen. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of our let's get out of the house project. And then I've been working on a bunch of other side project. I've had contractors over because we're doing some spring repairs that we've been saving up for the last 3 or 4 years to to finally get taken care of. And so they're slowly but surely getting taken care of. So new gutters.
That's awesome.
Did some roof line adjustment. Although the problem is the gutter guys.
Oh, no.
They're doing a fine job, but
okay.
We also just got, I had a guy was going to have come over and do some landscaping. He couldn't get in the yard because the gutter guys were all over the yard. But the gutter guys were supposed to be here Tuesday, Wednesday. And so I told landscape guy, yeah, Thursday you should be fine. He shows up. There's just people everywhere.
No space.
Like, so he texts me after, hey, I tried, honest, but I couldn't get my stuff there. And I live in a cul-de-sac, so 2 big trucks pulling big trailers.
Yeah. There can be only one.
Yeah. So without irritating all the rest of the neighbors. So I said, and the gutter guy told me that he underestimated the time, so he's going to be here tomorrow too.
Oh.
So now I can't. So
it's not a 2-day job, it's a 4-day job.
It went from a 2-day, 2 half-day job into a 2.5-day job. So, yeah. So, anyways,
it's not your job to do his estimates for him.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I pay the same amount whether he's here for 2 days or 4. So,
yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So tulips were beautiful, and I don't remember a whole lot of the last week. It was very busy, just with work and a bunch of other stuff. So,
my tulips haven't bloomed yet, but they're gonna.
Yeah,
they totally are. They look like they're about to pop.
Now, these are the tulips that are new tulips from the previously Roundup tulips?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
The previously rounded up tulips seem to be growing, as well as I planted some more this year too.
Okay.
Because I thought that the others were not going to come back.
Yeah.
But now I have extra. Well, Costco suckers me in with the bulbs that they have at the every late winter, early spring. I'm like, oh sure, why not? $20. Throw in some more flowers.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Alrighty. Well,
fun. Well, hey, gee, not much happened the last week and a half in the security world. Ha ha ha.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. Yeah. Although,
so hey, what did you bring?
I went an opposite direction and said, you know what? I'm just going to talk about things adjacent. So, one of them, there is Starlink, right? The whole satellite internet thing that's going on. Amazon.
I would not mind an alternative.
Amazon has a Kuiper satellite project, Project Kuiper, where they have been delayed to get their first satellites up due to prioritized U.S. Space Force missions. But apparently they have to get at least 1,600 and some odd, at least a half their constellation up before July 2026, or their FCC license expires. Ooh. So Amazon has bought apparently more than 80 rocket launches, including on SpaceX and Blue Origin, to get their satellites up, their Kuiper satellites up. So we are.
So wait. So Blue Origin is Bezos' company.
Is space.
So that doesn't surprise me. But SpaceX launching,
they just sell you space on there.
I'm betting Bezos didn't get a discount.
No. Probably not. So, anyways, the security adjacent piece there is like when servers go bad, like things really bad happen, people wander into rooms and start flipping switches or pulling cables, right? You're not doing that with satellites. You're like, your satellite gets hacked, you have to hack it back. There is no pull the plug and reformat it. So I'm curious what the more we get stuff dependent on space things, how soon before those start to become a prime target of attackers. So that's my story from the billionaire competition club category. My next one is also security adjacent. It's from the no good deed goes unpunished category, and it's all about Wikimedia. Wikipedia, fantastic service. However, they are Wikimedia, the overall company, is a little bit frustrated because of web scraping bots that are scraping the entire internet for content to train AI models on. And Wikipedia is a fantastic source for that, as you might
no doubt
expect. Yes. But they were saying that since January 2024, the bandwidth serving multimedia files, so not just their text, but the multimedia files on Wiki Commons or Wikimedia Commons or whatever it is, has increased by 50%.
Everybody wants multimodal models.
Yeah, and there's a quote here is, our infrastructure is built to sustain sudden traffic spikes from humans during high interest events, but the amount of traffic generated by scraper bots is unprecedented and presents growing risks and costs. According to the Wikimedians, at least 65% of the traffic for the most expensive content served by Wikimedia Foundation data centers is generated by bots, even though these software agents represent only 35% of page views.
So, are these bots not honoring robots.txt?
That is exactly what they are not honoring, and that's exactly what they're ignoring, because the article talks a little bit about that. It goes on, to mention that, Wikimedia's caching scheme has been configured to distribute popular content around the globe for better performance.
Sure.
Bots don't care about popularity. Bots want content.
Everything.
And so everything has to be fetched from the core data center, because bots don't care if it takes two seconds as opposed to 20 milliseconds to respond with stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, so they're trying to figure out how to handle that. And the article does talk about, using robots, text, etc. But the security angle, which I thought was interesting here, was, and the quote here is, as concern about abusive AI content harvesting has been an issue for some time, quite a few tools have emerged to thwart aggressive crawlers. These include data poisoning projects such as Glade, Nightshade, and Artshield, and network-based tools, and there's a list of network-based tools. So one of the things I thought was cool was, what is a data poisoning project for multimedia? Okay. And so Glaze, so there's two, and they're both out of, I think, the University of Chicago. Glaze is a system designed to protect human artists by disrupting style mimicry. So at a high level, Glaze works by understanding the AI models that are training on human art and using machine learning algorithms, computing a set of minimal changes to artworks such that it appears unchanged to the human eyes, but appears to the AI models like a dramatically different art style. So, for example, human eyes might find a glazed charcoal portrait with a realism style to be unchanged, but an AI model might see a glazed version as the modern abstract style a la Jackson Pollock. So when someone prompts the model to generate art mimicking the charcoal artist, they will get something quite different from what they expect. So it's kind of
interesting
poisoning the AI model, understanding how the AI model works, and then protecting you as the artist from having someone copy your style. So not your work, but your style, by poisoning the AI models to not learn with it. And then Nightshade is a little bit different in that, what's the trick to Nightshade? It was, let's see, Nightshade is a tool that turns any image into a data sample that is unsuitable for model training. So more precisely, Nightshade transforms images into poison samples so that the models training on them without consent will see their models learn unpredictable behaviors that deviate from expected norms. For example, a prompt that asks for an image of a cow flying in space might instead get an image of a handbag floating in space. So
that doesn't really have as much info. Like I could totally see on the other one, on Glaze, how you would, because I've played with ImageNet and like changing the, what's the, what do you have to add to the image to get it to classify something else, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So anyways, there's a bunch of projects that I thought were kind of cool in basically, oh yeah, you want to steal this stuff? You want to consume this stuff? Hey, go ahead, consume it. Now I've just poisoned your model.
Right.
And it's, part of it is in their fact, hey, is this legal? And the guy says, well, I'm not a lawyer, but I have talked to a bunch and none of them see any concerns of someone stealing my work.
How would it not be?
And ruining their stuff because they stole my stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the robber breaking into the store and then complaining that, there was no toilet paper in the bathroom or something. I don't know what the right analogy is, but anyways, there you go. So that's, those are my two articles for today, billionaires and bots.
Billionaires and bots.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. And the story of 2100.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Too dark. Okay. So I can't entirely shy away from the fact that while I was on vacation, our administration evidently realized, no, they probably have been using Signal for a long time. And it's okay to add a journalist to, a Signal. Well, A, it's okay to use Signal in the first place as for critical government communications. B, you should add journalists to it. C, you should discuss or not discuss sensitive or not sensitive. Who knows?
Yeah.
Not me.
They should have done it over email.
It's all, yeah. Send your
private
your
emails. Like
number.
use
Yeah.
They should have used Gmail.
Sure.
Like,
well, exactly.
That's secure.
No. So the thing though, so fine, whatever. Like I'm not going to actually address the many, many, many things there, but in the popular zeitgeist, or at least a thing that my wife had shared to me, there was a comment made that Signal was broken. And that Signal was attacked and broken by the Russians or something like that. And in my head, when reading the thing, that I was like, what? No, So, I'll put a link in here to a Kevin Collier, a Blue Sky post that is where the source of this actually was. Because Signal worked with Google to put out a report about phishing attempts using. No, just this had been earlier. This is totally unrelated, but it's basically social engineering using to try and get into Signal. Mm-hmm. And I mean the weak point in this is the consumer devices, right? I mean we've had many stories over the last years about 0-click or 1-click attacks or spyware from Pegasus, etc. that attacks consumer devices, and end-to-end encryption doesn't help if you have somebody on one of the ends.
Exactly.
It's so anyway, but the Google report was done in cooperation with Signal and talked about the fact that given the use of Signal in, for example, Ukraine, Russia has been doing a lot more targeted efforts to attempt to socially engineer people who are using Signal. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the quote from Kevin is, "It's really crucial to understand how badly framed this is. There is no signal vulnerability. The Pentagon email did a bad job explaining a Google report from a month ago, and NPR repeated it. This is like saying because you got a phishing email at your Gmail address, there's a Google vulnerability." Like, you got the phishing email. You clicked on the link. You did that does not mean that there's an infrastructure thing. So I wanted to at least be able to put the link to the I'll put the link to the Blue Sky post, which has a link to the Google report in here.
Right.
So best of our knowledge at the moment, Signal's a great end-to-end encryption medium for the general populace. Probably not for critical government communications.
No. There's a...
Yeah, you should take out my probably. But
you would think that...
Allegedly.
Yeah, the government...
Allegedly. Allegedly. Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Next story.
Okay, so my next story, also, I'm betting that you've never had your DNA tested.
I have not paid any of the public places you can go to do it, but I'm quite sure I've just through blood tests or whatever. In
blood tests and things like that?
Yeah.
I have deliberately not ever done one of these, but you're right. I mean, have I had blood drawn in the last 20 years? Yes, many times. Have I donated blood in the last 20 years? Yes, like many, 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 many times. So, okay. So, I mean, I might not be white hat here. My hat might be some shade of gray. So 23andMe is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They have collected the DNA of 15 million, it says, people. And so now top bidder's going to get your DNA if you paid 23andMe to have them test your DNA. Yeah. A couple things about this. I mean, the first thing is, the reason that they're filing for Chapter 11 is because of all of the lawsuits being filed against them. So it said that they had 7 million of its customers had personal data released in a hack, including, it said in some cases, quote, health-related information based upon the user's genetics. It's facing over 50 class action and state court lawsuits. And that, quote, approximately 35,000 claimants have initiated, filed, or threatened to commence arbitration claims against the company. So it's seeking bankruptcy protection in part, to simplify the fallout of these legal cases, and because it believes it may not have money to pay for the potential damages associated with these cases. This is going to be a link to 404 Media, but it says, another quote down in here is, there's no way to have any clue what's going to happen to that data, your genetic data, how it's going to be analyzed, how it's going to be monetized, how it's going to be protected from hackers, and who it's going to be shared with for profit. Sharing your own DNA with 23andMe also necessarily implicates your close family members who may or may not want their genetic information submitted to a company that is financially precarious and sitting on a trove of highly sensitive information. Evidently, at least if you live in California, the California Attorney General issued an urgent alert to 23andMe customers telling them to ask the company to delete their data and destroy their genetic samples under a California privacy law. So if you're in California, you could certainly ask, and there might or might not have to follow through with that. Enforcement will be interesting. Let's see. It says 23andMe has claimed over the years that it strongly resists law enforcement requests for information and that it takes customer security seriously.
Of course it does.
But the company has, in recent years, changed its terms of service, partnered with big pharmaceutical companies, and of course was hacked. So their statement was that, Your data remains protected. The Chapter 11 filing does not change how we store, manage, or protect your data. Blah, 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 blah. Any buyer will have to comply with applicable law with respect to the treatment of customer data, which means, so that was the quote, and then the commentary, which means essentially nothing because there are few laws that protect against the monetization of customer genetic data, as evidenced by the fact that other genetic databases proactively offer information to law enforcement and partner with Big Pharma.
Mm-hmm.
So, kudos to you if your data is not in 23andMe.
As far as I know, it's not.
If it is and you are in California, you should maybe quick at least try to have it deleted. Otherwise,
I do like the last sentence in the article.
Rolling the dice.
The coming to me could be sold to anyone. No way to know what the buyer will want to do with the reams of genetic information. Customers, meanwhile, still have no way to change their underlying genetic data. It's not like I can change a password somewhere.
Nope. So, would you like a new thumb?
Yeah. It's coming, I'm sure.
Yeah.
DNA altering tech will be the next big thing. Get your DNA altered to avoid. Anyways, something fun.
Yeah, I am totally good for something fun. hit me up.
All right, so my something fun is the Artemis 2 mission.
Okay.
So the 4 astronauts who are going to be the first ones to fly to the moon have revealed their patch. Emblem.
A patch.
And it's a pretty cool picture. So you can click on the link and see the picture. So it's
I love it.
A play on the abbreviation of Artemis 2, and it reads all AII, but if you read it,
I love it
with capital I's, it's all. So the description: the Artemis 2 test flight begins when a mighty team launches the first crew of the Artemis generation. This patch designates the mission as all, not AII, all signifying not only the second major flight of the Artemis campaign, but also an endeavor of discovery that seeks to explore for all and by all. Framed in Apollo 8's famous Earthrise photo, the scene of the Earth and the moon represent the dual nature of human spaceflight, both equally compelling. The moon represents our exploration destination, focused on discovery of the unknown. The Earth represents home, focused on the perspective we gain when we look back at our shared planet and learn what it is to be uniquely human. The orbit around Earth highlights the ongoing exploration missions that have enabled Artemis to set sights on a long-term presence on the moon and soon Mars. So there's your Artemis 2.
That is awesome.
Patch description. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I love the callback to Earthrise.
Yeah. So I'm sure at store.nasa.gov you'll be able to buy the patch at some point soon.
Very cool.
So there you go. That's my something fun. Artemis 2 or all.
Okay. That is super cool. That is super cool.
All
right. My fun.
Yeah. It says don't go watch the video yet.
Okay. Yeah. Let me ask you a question first.
Okay.
Have you ever played Terraria? Are you aware of Terraria?
No. It sounds like there's a bunch of ants. And I watch them do things.
Well, so I have definitely played this with my kids, and it's not a new game. It's a relatively old game, like maybe 10 years or so. And it's kind of like, and he even says this at the beginning of the video, that if you say this, you will get like totally flamed on Reddit. It's like a 2D Minecraft.
Okay.
But it has
good thing we're not
logic.
On Reddit.
It has logic gates.
Okay.
So this is so. Go ahead and you can click on the video. Don't let the sound come through. But this, I will give you the little bits here. This is a person who has spent enough time to build a RISC-V compatible computer inside Terraria using their logic gates.
What?
Yes. So normally you would use a logic gate to like, have a switch on a wall
Yeah.
and in your room, and you would like click the switch and a door would open.
Yes.
And so, but if you have the basics of a gate, you can make other gates. And he basically
goodness.
designed a computer inside the game and then used his computer to play Pong.
I'm watching this. Holy cow.
So it is RISC-V compatible. And then
Insane.
He said he spent like 600 hours like doing it. Because of course, even though there are mods, it does not make it easy, and it's totally worth 15 minutes to watch the video. But it doesn't quite play Doom.
Okay.
But got close. It gets very close. It is entirely insane. Entirely insane. So
I'm at the Reddit part where it says you get flamed on Reddit. Sorry.
Yeah, no. It's totally, completely amazing. It's awesome.
This is super cool.
It's super cool, and he's got a whole GitHub. So he's like, once he got it all working, he's like, it's so slow. I had to actually go in and write a mod to re-implement some of the logic analysis, and then you can basically then write the code that you want to run on your Terraria computer in Terraria in RISC-V, in Rust, I think. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy cool. My son sent me this video. I watched it. I was like, okay, that has to be my something fun. That is amazing and crazy.
That is really cool.
And I'm glad that other people learn what computers are.
Mm-hmm. This is cool. I'm gonna have to watch the rest of it.
Check that out. Check that out. You got to go watch the whole rest of the video. It's totally cool. It's totally awesome. Right. I was late for calling you because I was watching that video.
I had to pause it here so we can finish up. So I can finish watching it now.
Okay. Yeah, you'll enjoy. All right. I'll talk to you later, Eric.
Thanks, John.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.